I say that I did have a lab portion of my presentation today because I set up my domain controller yesterday. Maybe I can show my Proxmox lab real quick. Let me get it open while I'm talking. Probably share my screen real quick. So y'all should be able to see that. So I set up my domain controller yesterday. I started to set up my clients today. I made a clone of my domain controller accidentally for one of the clients, trying to multitask. Instead of deleting the client that I just cloned as a domain controller, I deleted my domain controller. And the clone of the domain controller was only before anything had been set up. So I had to rebuild my entire lab today, and it's not quite ready. So the lab portion of my exam or my presentation is suffering today, but I do have something else I hope everyone will find interesting. So I'm going to put a quick link in the chat for my YouTube channel. All of the previous PJPT sessions are on there. There is an internal demonstration from Ben, an external demonstration. You got me going through some AD boxes. You got Garesh going through some AD boxes, or what's his Fox name? It might just be like Garesh Fox or something. So all that stuff is still there for everyone to watch if they want to see like more hands-on stuff. I wanted to try and do something different for this series of study groups. So I have 6 um, planned. We're going to do internal today. Ben is going to do external next week. And then the following week, Ange is going to do OSINT. And then we're going to kind of repeat. And hopefully we catch all of the subjects during that time frame that might be helpful to what I'm about to show you next. Let me find the right screen. All right. So you guys should be able to see that, right? Can everyone see the notebook I'm building? Anybody? Okay, cool. So my plan for this is by the end of these 6 study groups to have like I'm going to share this AD related strategy guide, I guess we'll say, um, to the entire group. You'll be able to watch it the whole time it's under creation. You won't be able to edit it. Only the people who are working on it will be able to edit it. But hopefully by the end of the 6 study group sessions, we'll have a nice cheat sheet for everyone to use. I shouldn't say cheat sheet, not cheating. But so from talking to people who have like either done the PNPT or failed the PNPT, more importantly, um, the study guide, yes, but also I want it to be like a quick exam day or exam week in the case of the PNPT. I want it to be like an exam week um, guide where if you're like stuck somewhere, you can go back to this guide that we created and maybe like, okay, I'm here. What can I do while I'm here? What should I do next? So the internal portion of it is what is really worked on right now. There's a few like little touches that need to go up or go into it. Oops, sorry. Stop sharing my screen. I meant to stop my camera. All right, so I'll start going over this now. If you guys have any questions, you can hit me as much as you want. I'll try and answer them when I can. Um, so we're going to start from the internal aspect of the pen test. I know that's kind of backwards, but or not pen test, exam. It's kind of backwards because we'll be starting from the outside. But this is just kind of like the order I could get guests in who are experts on each. So, how many people, if we could get a quick tally in the chat, are actually studying to take the exam right now? Okay, so out of those people, would any of you say that as you're going through the course material, you have good notes, you're watching the videos, you're attacking the labs, but maybe you have trouble putting it together, like visualizing how, or putting it together in a notebook or something like this about how you should actually go through the pen test step to step, how you should repeat things. Missing, no, you took the PNPT. Okay. So hopefully by the end of this, these 6 study groups, some of that will go away. But missing, no, if you don't mind sharing, what do you think you struggled with the most? Sorry to put you on the spot, but I think it's interesting for everyone here to know. Okay. So you can see in the notebook, the external portion is also started. Um, and it kind of starts from the beginning and works through. We're not focusing on the external portion today just because it's not my material. Um, I'm going to let Ben handle that, but we'll get there eventually. So, from missing, no will already know this, or anybody who's taken the PJP will already know this, that you're going to get like wouldn't be called a scope. What do they call that? Rules of engagement when you start the exam. So you're going to get some information to start out, like a range of IPs that are in scope or whatever, what you can attack, blah, blah, blah. So we're starting internal on the network today. Like I said, I know that's kind of ass backwards, but this would be helpful for somebody who's just getting ready to take the PJPT because you are starting internal on the PJPT. So we go through, um, first start out identifying live hosts on the network. This cheat sheet has some examples of things you can do to start identifying hosts on an exam environment. Like we're talking, this is probably also helpful for like an internal pen test, but I don't think we have to go so far. As far as host discovery goes, maybe a simple Nmap scan, and then once we figure out what's on the network, we can do a more detailed Nmap scan, and that is all in this guide right here. Once you get to the discovery portion, you figured out what's on the network as far as live hosts go, what your domain controller is. You can add those. You can do a more detailed Nmap scan on the target list that you created. I should say that before or as you're starting any of the scanning, getting responder running. If you decide you wanted to do vulnerability scanning at the same time, that's also, you should be starting all of that at the same time. But pretty much once you're internal, have responder running from the start. And then this is relevant, the SMB security mode, if signing is enabled or not. If you're going through the coursework, you'll remember that, that is relevant later on once we get to, trying SMB relay. So this actually goes into what I was just talking about with, getting responder running. If you're capturing any hashes, start putting together a list, of what you've got. You could start cracking them if you want to. That is all covered in here. And then we get into SMB relay. Man in the Middle 6 is on here. It is in the PEH course. It's probably, if we're being realistic, probably not going to be on an exam environment, in my opinion. Somebody could tell me if they think I'm wrong. Somebody more experienced than me can tell me if they think I'm wrong, but I highly doubt they would put that in an exam environment just because it would probably make things too easy. So we have usernames, passwords, hashes. We can start checking for Kerberos. We can start building our, file names, or I'm sorry, files of usernames. We can try credential stuffing. I don't know if that's the route I would go, like internally. And then in the list here, if you have credentials, you can just jump to the post-compromise attacks. And I'll tell you why the post-compromise enumeration is in here, because it's in the PEH course. But I don't think, and someone else could tell me if they think I'm wrong, I probably think things like Bloodhound are overkill for a smaller exam environment. And then this at the bottom, I'm still working on cleaning up. So this would just be like a quick, I'm trying to make a quick reference guide at the bottom of each page for exam day. Clean it up, make it nice. So you start your day, responder, man in the middle 6, short burst 5 to 10 minutes. Not going to harm anything in an exam environment other than maybe having a reset. Your Nmap scan, vulnerability scan if you want to. If you find any web servers, you can start enumerating. If you want to. I don't know once you're internal how much that is going to do for you, but it might. And then quick wins, like say anonymous login for SMB FTP. Sorry, I'm just trying to put my thoughts together. The quick reference guide, like I said, for the enumeration, or post-compromise enumeration, skipping over a lot because, like I said, I don't know if it's realistic for a small exam environment where you might have like a domain controller and a few machines, but on a bigger pen test, probably so. Getting to post-compromise attacks from the internal perspective. LDAP domain dump, if you decide to go that route. Lockout policy, we're probably not going to see lockout policy in an exam environment. But it's in here just because. We can start passing hashes around, passing passwords around. Remember that I was going to do net exec today. That was part of my little lab, but that's not going to work, unfortunately. But I will do it if we have time for the next one. I still will do it, or I'll do like a separate video. And then just once you have credentials, remember everything you can do. Um, Evil WinRM, X-Free RDP. Both of those, remember that they can work with not just passwords, but they can work with hashes. And then, PS exec, WMI exec, SMB exec. PS exec is probably my go-to for getting a shell, but the other are options. And I think Heath covers those in the course in case PS exec doesn't work. And then what can we do? We got a shell. We have a remote desktop. What can we do? Dump the SAM. We can try like golden ticket. Mimikatz. I guess that would be the best win or the easiest win, especially with like X-Free RDP or whatever you like to use for remote desktop. And then the quick reference guide is still under construction, but I'm trying to make the quick reference guide at the bottom like a stressful exam day quick look at. So, crack our hashes we found, pass them around, crack map or netexec. We can try secret stump. We can try to get a shell or remote desktop. I left the LNK file attacks on here just because they're in the course, but I don't know. I also don't know if that's really going to be useful in an exam environment. The passback is also in the course. I don't know if that's realistic. And then I think these, especially Kerber roasting and Mimikatz, are probably the most realistic for an exam environment like we're looking at. And then once we compromise the DC, that's like a pretty small list of things to do. But for reporting and passing the exam, remember we need proof of concept. So make sure you dump the NTDS DIT. I would probably do that and create a admin account. I would probably do both, dump and create an admin account, just to kind of like really seal the deal on the proof of concept for your reporting. I included this also, and we'll go through it like really quickly. This is a diagram. It's like a flow chart that Ben made. Let me just switch to that screen really quickly. Yeah, the LNK file attack, I agree. Wouldn't be useful in the exam environment, and I don't know if they would even like bother going through the trouble of trying to script. Well, yes, man in the middle 6. I do not think that it would be useful in the exam environment, but it's on the exam, so. So this is probably not. This is something you might want to study like leading into the exam, but probably not an exam day flowchart because it's so massive. But Ben took a lot of time. He didn't make this for us, but it is still useful. It is a flowchart of, say, we're starting, today we're talking about starting from an internal position. What can we do next? Foothold on a domain, join, host. Is it a Linux box? What do you do from there? The dude even has links to like, post exploitation. So I'm not gonna like spend too much time on this today, but it is here. If y'all want to go through, I think it's a useful resource. But I would not rely on this on exam day. I would, study this before. take your notes from it. Maybe make it something that's easier to read, because a lot of this probably isn't going to be relevant on like an exam like we're talking about. I'm trying to keep everything in the study group like realistic to the exam environment, and everything. TCM is pretty like adamant that everything on the course is what you're going to see in the exam. There's like no gotchas after that. Chump 2821 has some suggested boxes to practice on. What has some suggested boxes to practice on? I'm sorry. The chart. I believe I don't know if it has. It may with this checklist. I haven't gone through it fully like that, but you might want to. It has a lot of guides. I know that. Um, this checklist from Try Hack Me, I think, is like his checklist of what he does when he starts going through a box. I don't necessarily know if it is. Oh, maybe you're right over on the side here. So looks like maybe some rooms to go through. Yeah, I guess you're right. I didn't pay attention enough to that part of it. Anyway, back to the notes real quick because we're almost done today. Like I said, I don't have the lab part that I was supposed to have. I apologize for that, but let's see. Missing no question. I noticed during my PNPT attempt that any attacks involving NTLM relax pi and responder flat out didn't work during the PNPT. I was using the VPN connection and then SS shuttled in as well. Any specific reason that comes to mind for why that wouldn't work? Um, I don't know exactly why it wouldn't work, but I have heard that there's been trouble running certain things like that over proxies. And I would probably show up next week for when Ben is on because he'll know way more than me. Because I do web app pen testing for a living. He does all pen testing. So this is not for the next study group. The next internal study group, I will have everything prepared for pivoting and privilege escalation. Not everything from the course, but it'll be in these notes that you guys can have, and it'll, kind of be like a small summary of things to do. And I'm still cleaning up this quick reference guide at the bottom, but I didn't have enough time to do that. Like I said, Ben is working on the external, but he'll be presenting that next week. And then Ange will be working on the OSINT, and she'll be presenting that the week after. And then we'll kind of repeat. Hopefully by the end of those 6 sessions, we'll have everything. But I'm going to share this notebook now. I should have got that ready before, but I'm going to share a quick link in chat once I get my life together real quick. Wow, that's not focused at all. Sozy, how you doing, buddy? I didn't see you come in. Just making a link for the notebook real quick so that you guys can have it. Sorry, I used OneNote also. Yes, for the Horde. I don't play anymore because I don't have time to play, but I'm still for the Horde. Somebody try that notebook out for me and let me know if it works. Sorry, I use OneNote, but you guys can convert it to whatever Obsidian or whatever you like. I play a little bit of Diablo still, but that's because I can like get on for you know 30 minutes and then hop right off and not feel like I'm missing out on something. With World of Warcraft, it's like you got to be playing to get anywhere. All right, link works, cool. It didn't work for one person. Can I? Anybody else try it just so it's working? Okay. Pen tester Mike. I'm not sure. Give it 60 seconds to load. Maybe it's because everybody's trying to like click on it at the same time. You guys are stressing my OneDrive out to the max. Yeah, I kind of just like cut my teeth on OneNote, and I've just been using it ever since. And it's like too much of a pain in the ass to switch at this point. All right, so I know we went over everything kind of quickly. Um, manually DDoS my OneDrive. I guess so. I tried Obsidian out for a little bit, and I just it was like a pain in the ass to switch, and I couldn't get into it. So I know we went over everything kind of quickly today. That was the first supposed to be the first half of my presentation, and then the second half was supposed to be like maybe 15-20 minutes of going through my Proxmox lab, but unfortunately that's not going to pan out today. Anybody have any questions, I guess, related to the internal side? I mean, I'll try to answer anything, but internal is like more my thing right now. I haven't tried Note Highlight, but I have tried one more which does code blocks. Actually, I can probably show that real quick on something that I was working on. What was I working on with code recently? I don't, Falconelli, I don't know. I don't expect to see a lot of web app in any of these exams. I could be talking out of my ass because I haven't. I've taken the PJPT. I haven't taken the PNPT yet. I could be talking out of my ass, but I can't find anything that I was just working on that had like good code. Anyway, I use one more in OneNote, and that format's code. Any questions for me or for anybody else? I hope you guys find this note compilation useful. X free RDP. Well, I've used both in CTF or exam situations. Um, I'll just say that I think Evil Win RM is more likely to work with a hash, whereas I think any kind of RDP is less likely to be enabled to allow hashes. This is number one of 6 sessions, and then by the end of those 6 sessions, I'm hoping to have this little notebook like a really good exam day, quick look things up, like oh shit, not stressful, short enough to be not stressful, you're still going to have to reference your own notes for things. Like if you want to, go back and reference your notes about like the syntaxes and everything you're supposed to use with NetExec or CrackMac exec, and like what you know information needs to be put in that. That all of that is not going to be in this guide. You'll have to reference your own notes for that. Hopefully, my hope is at the end of 6 sessions, it'll be like a quick exam guide for you guys. That's what I'm hoping. This originally was going to be like a quick little presentation, and then each person in the next study group was going to do like their own little presentation. And I had this idea to like kind of just everybody get together and put together something that would be helpful. Crack map exec works with passwords also, if that was your question. Or that wasn't a question. you were telling. Okay, I'm sorry. Just making sure I don't miss any questions. I have her screen. I don't have questions. I'm too new to this. Give it a while. I do want to say thank you for taking it. Oh well, you're welcome. Hopefully, I'm not that far off from new, so I probably have just as many questions. It doesn't really get easier. I probably have just as many questions as you do. Not a deep fake, if you don't mind me sharing. Where are you at right now? Like when you say new, I'm assuming you mean like not working in the field, trying to make your way into the field. Where are you at? Okay. What are you doing now? Sorry, I didn't mean to turn this into an interview for not a deep fake, but I'm curious, always curious about like where people are getting into the industry from. Because if most of you here probably don't know my story, but um, a month ago I was still working in pest control. So it sounds like you're on the right track. Home Depot to IT. Yeah, up until a month ago, I was still doing pest control, and I lucked out getting my first IT slash cyber job straight into pen testing. So very very grateful for that. It was not easy to do. It was a lot of hard work. WGU definitely helped. Having that degree, getting past that resume filter. Not a hacker. Not a hacker. You're late. You can't hack anything now. Sorry. I would say if you're if you're a sysadmin already right now, it shouldn't be that hard for you. As long as you can prove that you can do the deed. Is it very hard to find a job in entry level pen testing? I would not say it's easy. It's definitely not easy. It's more about who you know. Um, Obviously, you have to know what you're doing, but it's more about who you know to kind of get your foot in the door. Because it's just like you have to have, yes, you have to have um, maybe have certs, maybe have a degree, but to beat out the other 500 resumes, it's very helpful to know somebody. Yes, yes. The inside pull will get you the interview, but you definitely still have to be able to, you know, either fool them or demonstrate that you know what you're doing, whatever one you choose to try. I would not recommend to fool them either, but maybe it's a social engineering interview and you need to fool them. To a degree, yes, I would agree. I would agree. You're kind of social engineering no matter what you're doing, even if you know what you're doing. The pup came to visit me. Oh, the pup is knocking my microphone over. Well, boom slang, it's not impossible. If a dummy like me could do it, it's not impossible. Yeah, deepfake, good luck on your interview. I don't know that I would ever want to work in a SOC, but I know some like level 3 analysts that make a lot of money. So I agree with you. Totally not a hacker because I'm me and everyone else are just always good at Google and shit. Well, I hope you guys find that document useful as it continues to grow and as the other guests continue to add to it. Um, if we don't have any more questions, I'll give it a couple more minutes and then we'll start to wrap up here. Short study group today. I apologize for that. I really wish I had my lab ready. Falconelli, when you doing your presentation? You want to plug it or no? You want to keep it on the DL? 10th of April. If you guys are interested in the physical stuff, you don't have a link for that, do you? I could get a link real quick, probably. Let me see if I can grab a link for that real quick. Oh, there you go. Look at you go. You're on the ball. So if any of you guys want to check out some physical stuff, come peep that on the RSC Discord. All right, looks like we're out of questions. So I can link it one more time if you don't have access. Hang on, let me link it one more time. Go. I'm getting drooled on by a giant dog. Link is in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How's it looking now, Mike? Let me know if that's working for you. The next one will be external pen testing. Oh, the Discord link. You might have to go join the RSC Discord first. Let me link the Discord real quick. Yeah, you might have to be a member of the Discord first. Let me do an invite on the fly. Invite people. Copy the link. Oh, you got the link already. Cool. Okay. You beat me to it. All right. So we'll wrap it up there, guys. Next week, come back so we can continue external. Have a good night.